Yes, Diana West, Washington Examiner. You mentioned the shortcomings of the watch list system and also the dangers posed by domestic actors gaining access or exposure to our security practices. And I just wondered, do you know that a known Hamas operative was invited by the FBI into a 6-week training session, Sheikh Kifa Mustafa, and is that the kind of problem you're talking about? What is your reaction to that?
Well, I think the FBI will be here later. I think the FBI has, you can speak to them about that, but I do think there is merit, frankly, in outreach to engage as much as possible with the Muslim community. I will acknowledge I don't know the specifics of how this particular person was invited, but I do think there's great merit in such programs. And again, I think there'll be some FBI representatives here later who can speak more specifically to that.
Christine Brim, Center for Security Policy. In the 9/11 Commission report, a number of terms were used, including jihad and Islamic terrorism, which subsequently have been removed from the parlance for both intelligence collection and intelligence analysis. Most recent example, the Fort Hood report, which mentioned not only none of those terms, but did not even mention the name of the alleged shooter. John Brennan recently has come out essentially stating that the term jihad cannot be used. Do you support that policy of banning factual terms from intelligence collection and intelligence analysis?
I support policies which acknowledge the sensitivities here, which acknowledge the what I would consider the sort of the positive aspects of the Muslim religion. We have millions of people in this country who are practitioners of Muslim religion, and I think we in intelligence need to be sensitive to those terms. There's plenty of terminology out there we can use that conveys the meaning and the message we need to.
Yes, hello, Mr. Director. My name is Diana West. I'm with the Washington Examiner. And I just wanted to follow up on a question I've asked almost everyone I've spoken to today, which has to do with the Kifa Mustafa incident coming in with the Citizens Academy. Kifa Mustafa being an unindicted co-conspirator in the Holy Land trial, a Holy Land Foundation trial, and also a Hamas operative. Everyone has told me, talk to the FBI, including Director Clapper.
Are you sure that was the answer was given before?
Right. So you are the FBI.
I did get some briefing before, and I knew this question.
Excellent.
So let me tell you that I understand the concern. I'm not certain I agree with the predicate to your question or the assertions you make in the context of the question, and we're not going to debate it here. Let me tell you that Citizens Academies, we carry on throughout the country in every one of our offices. They have been a terrific tool for exposing the FBI to a variety of communities. I will tell you that we look at the backgrounds of individuals that participate in Citizens Academies. I might also add that what the Citizens Academies are exposed to are how we do business, not necessarily the facts or the investigations that we may be handling. So I'm not going to talk about any particular individual, but I can tell you that that portion of our outreach is tremendously important, and we do look into the individuals that we invite into the Citizens Academies.
Mr. Director, I'm Frank Gaffney with the Center for Security Policy. Thank you for your service to our country in many different capacities. An organization like mine is trying to render support to you all, and we've recently published a study we call the Team B2 study. It's available at shariathethreat.com. It talks about Sharia as fundamental to the enemy that we're dealing with here today. We've heard much this morning, and even in your speech, about the threat of the violent kind of jihad that Sharia compels. Missing almost entirely, I think, has been the stealth jihad, and you spoke in your remarks about the importance in outreach to the community of rebuilding trust in the FBI. I'm more worried, frankly, about the trust the FBI is reposing in some in the community, specifically really relying upon the Muslim Brotherhood front organizations that the government itself has identified as vehicles for outreach. And I just wondered, especially when we see the Kifa Mustafa affair at the Citizens Academy, whether this isn't really a problem that requires a sort of revisit the second opinion of the kind that we've provided, and I'd just welcome your thoughts on this particular piece of the problem, the stealthy sort of jihad.
Let me start by saying I think it's a delicate issue, and it's dependent upon individuals. They're quite obviously in not just, say, the Muslim American, Arab American, Sikh American communities. There are individuals who may be under investigation, who may be participating in supporting terrorism, and we have to assure that we identify, understand those persons, and to the extent that they step over the line, that they're indicted and prosecuted. On the other hand, it's tremendously important for us to develop relationships with the 99.9% of the Muslim community, Arab American community, Sikh community, that every bit as patriotic as anybody in this room. And I say it's a delicate issue because you have to identify the various concerns that these communities have, and as well make certain that in those instances where you have some belief that the person that
The threat
is where you
the threat
believe
the threat
that
the threat
is where
the threat
believe
the threat
that
the threat